Yeah, just seeing the outline. I'm sure we can do
Should we start with a little song and dance?
um hold, have you already hit you haven't hit the button yet?
No, we're live. Yeah, we're good. I think we're live. If anyone can see or hear us, let us know. It's always an awkward start. There's a little bit of a delay sometimes with the technology. But no, I think we're live. So happy New Year's, everyone. Hope that you had a wonderful, beautiful holiday with your family and that you are revved up and ready for 2019. That's when we're doing this. So today we are talking about how to have your best marriage ever in 2019. I don't see anyone watching yet, so hopefully this is working. All right, so we know that at this time of year, a lot of people are setting goals, they're setting resolutions, and they're wanting to improve their lives. Maybe you looked back at where you were in 2018, and now you see that you want to get in a new place in 2019. So I have a little bit of a pop quiz. Now I can see some people watching. Hello, and Happy New Year to you. I have a pop quiz. So what percentage of people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions by February? So you can put that in the chat, whatever guess you think of it is. So what percentage of people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the time that February comes? So I'll give you guys a little minute to put that there into the chat. What you guys think that it is? All right, I see.
I heard it was, when I heard the number, it was pretty shocking. I thought, I mean, it makes sense, you know, looking back at all the New Year's resolutions. Like even, you know, me myself, I've probably given up on it. I get it, but you know, it was surprisingly high.
Right. Yep. Since I was a little girl, my parents always had to sit down and write out our goals for the year. And we were encouraged to do this in every area of life, from spirituality to our fitness, to talent goals that we had, family goals. And I ate it up. It's just like, this drives my personality. Like my core personality is all about growth. And so for years, I would set goals. And I looked forward to this so much. But at the end of the year, I often looked back and I'd be really disappointed because most of the goals I set, they didn't happen, right? So most of my life, I've lived with a lot of ambition and a lot of great intentions and a lot of failure to really follow through or really transform, until the last, I'd say, 5 years have been years of incredible growth for me personally. And I've learned the right way to set goals and the surprising correlation that there is between New Year's resolutions and failure. So we're going to talk about those here in a little bit. We got some people weighing in: 65%, 80%, 90, 75, 90, 80, 95%. All right. So research shows that by February, 80% of people will have given up on their New Year's resolutions. If you ever followed Tony Robbins, he has a video he put out a couple years ago about this that he sent out in February. And he's like, by now, 80% of you have already given up. Not even that you have tried and it failed, but like you just completely given up, like, not going to happen. And completely thrown it out the window. What were you going to say, Mark?
Oh, no. I was just saying yes.
Yeah. So why do you guys think that is? Why do 80% of people give up on things that they determine are important to them, things that they would like to develop, habits that they would like to implement, or habits they would like to break? Why do you think that so many have given up on their resolutions by February? I'd like to hear.
Weigh in on that myself, you know, if I could. So I do think that a lot of this is just a poor understanding of how to really go about making some changes in life and how to actually go about accomplishing goals. You know, it's an odd thing that, you know, such a crucial skill. It's not something that's really taught in schools ever. At least I don't ever remember having time in school sitting down talking about, okay, how do we actually accomplish something here? You know, it was always math, science, history, whatever. And so, you know, it's only been as an adult where it's actually become my job to help people change, where I've actually studied this. But just my impression is that most people don't. The only reason I did is because I had to actually be effective at my job. So at least that's what my opinion is. And I'm sure we'll be going over some of that today, like how to how to be effective here. But
Yep,
do we
that's
have
it.
any? Yeah.
So we got
Okay.
some comments here. A lack of motivation, no
Good one.
immediate tangible results. That's a really important one. We'll get into that in a little bit. But lack of motivation. So that's an interesting thing about motivation. They had the motivation to want to make a change. They had the desire there, but it seems like there is this gap between where we are and where we want to be in our life or in our marriage, in our relationship. And so let's talk about what it really takes to bridge that gap. We got a comment
Mhm.
here. Many people can't see the video. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's our connection today or what, but we'll just keep rolling with it. And then hopefully people can catch the replay later. All right. So I'm going to talk about, Mark's right. We aren't taught this in school. We aren't taught how to transform our lives. We aren't taught how to improve our personal mindset, how to encourage, growth personally and in our relationships. Those aren't things that we're taught. We're also not taught how to handle difficulty, how to handle challenges, how to handle adversity, what to do when those kind of things hit us in the face, right? And
Mhm.
so it's really crucial that we learn some new skills. We've also got here lack of commitment, too much effort. On Sunday, I gave a lesson and someone said that we're aiming too high. That we're part of the problem is we have these high expectations and then we set ourselves up for failure. So an interesting thing is that the research shows and neuroscience shows, the gurus that I follow are now saying that it's not that we're aiming too high, we're actually aiming too low. And SMART goals are completely getting in the way of us actually having progress. So we're going to talk about it here. All right, so we have what we call 3 layers of behavioral change. And I've only got like half a spot here. So I'm going to try to make sure. Where is it? It's on this side. Okay. Make sure you guys can all see this. Oh no, now my marker isn't working. There we go. All right. So we've got our 3 layers of behavioral change. The first one, you guys can see this, hoping it shows up.
Well, except for those people that can't see the video. We'll have to describe it. Heather is drawing concentric circles, some inside of others.
All right. This first one, going to our identity. And then we've got, hopefully you guys can see this, process. And then out here, we have
Outcomes.
Yes, outcomes. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this. This is from Atomic Change, which is an incredible book if any of you guys want to get it. All right. So the first layer of change is changing your outcomes. This is this outer layer here. Okay. And the results, this level is concerned with changing your results, like losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. Most of the goals you set are associated with this level of change. So think about what most New Year's resolution is. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to get my marriage. I'm going to get my spouse back, right? I'm going to save my family. I'm going to improve my relationship with my kids. And it's all of these kind of outer levels of results. These are outcomes. And then the second layer is changing your process. This level is concerned with changing your habits and systems. So that could be like implementing a new routine at the gym, decluttering your desk for better workflow, developing a meditation practice. Most of the habits you build are associated with this level. And then the third and deepest layer is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgments about yourself and others. And most of the beliefs, assumptions, and biases you hold are associated with this level. So, Mark, in our coaching, where do we always start? Do we start here? Usually, when most people come to us and they're wanting to have help with their relationships, they're very concerned about the outward results, right? And we know that those are the symptoms. So, kind of walk through people, for people here. How do we get past focusing just on the outer results to uncover what's really going on?
Well, like you said, a lot of times people are talking about the outcome. They're saying, I want my spouse to stop, to stop their affair. I want my spouse to listen to me. I want my spouse to connect with me. And those are all really good goals to have. the important part comes in is understanding, what is actually feeding into those outcomes. A lot of, we have whole portions of our course, whole portions of, what I do with clients about identifying patterns and identifying processes that contribute to the problems that they're having, looking at another layer underneath. Even further than that, I personally, when I'm talking to people about problems, they might say, well, my husband, my wife, they're cheating, or they just don't respect me. And I ask them, which sounds like a really odd question sometimes. Well, so what? Why does that matter to you? And very frequently, they give me this puzzled look. Well, of course that should matter, right? But when we start digging deeper, they start saying, okay, well, yeah, my spouse is cheating on me. And they might say, that really hurts. Okay, why does it hurt? What does it mean about you? And we get into this identity sort of thing. And that's where we can really start having a lot of sway there in a situation, is when we can start having an effect there at that core level, that identity level, where we actually understand why you guys are getting stuck in patterns and why those patterns have the outcomes that they do.
Absolutely. That's the core of what Mark and I do. And most coaches, and especially most therapists and other help out there, they don't go there. They don't go to that kind of level. So what Mark and I do is we get right to the root. We get right to the heart of the matter. Instead of focusing on these outer outcomes and results, we get right into the reason of why it's happening. Let me give an example here. So say that your goal is to lose weight, which is a very, very common New Year's resolution, right? I want to lose some weight. So say we want to lose 40 pounds, okay? So what most people are going to do here with New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, and you might be doing this in your relationship, is I want to change this. I want to lose 40 pounds. And they say that's their goal, and then that's kind of where it stays. And what doesn't happen is the change. They don't lose the 40 pounds. Let's talk about why. Now, maybe they take it a layer deeper and they go to the processes, okay? If you can read that, that's so tiny. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculously small. All right, let's say they go to the processes and they say, all right, I'm going to start running 3 times a week and lifting weights, and then I'm going to follow this nutrition plan. All right, so now their process has improved. And will they get to see some results? Most likely. But will they stick with it? Here we talk about getting burnt out and the motivation that someone was talking about earlier, lack of commitment, too much effort, lack of motivation, no immediate tangible results, okay? So when we get to this level, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, as well as many others. But this right here is our story, and we will go to the grave to defend our story about ourselves. Whatever we believe is true about us is what we will live. And if we say, I don't like exercise. I've never liked exercise. I'm just not a very active person. It's just not me. If that's your story, then you might be able to go to the gym for a week or 2, but then when a bump hits the road, you're like, nope, that's not me. It's too hard. It's raining. It's snowing, right? It hurts too much. I'm not seeing immediate results. I'm just not an active person. I just don't like exercising. And that story gets reiterated. However, when you start to change here at this level of your identity and the beliefs and the story that you have about yourself, then the rest becomes easy. I say easy, but it becomes much more possible and much more likely to follow through. Because if you change your core identity from someone that I don't like exercise, I don't like being active, to I honor my body and I love to move my body, and I find ways that feel delightful to move my body. And as you go forward with that kind of identity and you program that as your new story, well, then pretty soon everything else takes care of itself, right? If you're someone like, wow, I really love to move my body and I love to find new ways. And then you discover, oh, I love Zumba, or I love yoga, or I love walking. I love tennis, whatever it might be. I love surfing. Then you're going to create those systems in your life that further support that story. So then after that, what's going to happen? You're going to get the outcomes. A coach of ours, Mark and I's, from a couple years ago, talked about this in terms of lead indicators versus lag indicators. So what are your lead indicators? Those are the things that you're doing now that are going to contribute to the lag indicators, the lag results. And so it's very crucial that we shift our focus This is where it all comes home. So get ready. We shift our focus from those outer outcomes, those outer results that often we have very little control over, and we will not live in congruence with those if we tell ourselves a different story, and shift from that to getting to our identity, who we really are. And that is absolutely changeable. It is absolutely within our control and our power to tell ourselves a new story. Okay? So that's it in a nutshell. But I want to break this down and make it really tangible for you. So I would encourage you that instead of saying, I want to have more trust, I want to restore trust in my marriage, look at yourself and be like, who do I want to become? Who do I want to become on a core level? Now, and you can even reverse engineer that. If I want to have trust in my marriage, who would I need to be? What would I need to do? What would that look like? And then start to look for evidence of that. Like someone that has trust in their marriage, what are some of the things that they believe about themselves? What are some of the things that they do? What are some of the systems that they have in place in their relationship that ensures that that trust thrives? Okay, but it all comes down to who do I need to become so that I can have that? Okay, so I'd really encourage you to take a look at that, to examine, I really want this outer result. I really want this outcome. Who do I need to be to have that? And then you're going to put in the support systems that are going to give you the evidence that that is true about you. You're going to craft into your life systems of behavior that become habits that then are going to lead to those results. So, Mark, any thoughts on that? Kind of bringing it.
I like this simply because I like looking at truth and seeing where you find similar truths in many different forms. So in this case, it reminds me a lot of, principles within cognitive behavioral therapy, where it talks about core beliefs and intermediate beliefs and, surface level thoughts, or like basically identity and rules that govern your life and, the outcome from all those rules and identities. It also talks a lot about, what you were talking about here with, the kind of messages and stories that you tell yourself, ways that you adjust these things. It talks about, adjusting your thoughts and your feelings, having practices for that, and then actually supporting that with outcomes that would support those thoughts and feelings. So we can see some similarities there. And there's many other theories we can look at, if people are really into self-improvement and law of attraction principles, we could probably pull a lot of similar ideas from that to this same thing. And so it really, to me, starts making a lot of sense when many different schools of thought are coming together and with similar ideas. It seems to confirm that. I like that you brought up Tony Robbins with changing identity, because that was the first name that came to my mind when you were talking about that as well. And as far as changing processes, there's a very famous individual named Ray Dalio who's all about changing processes within his organization as a better way to have better outcomes. And so we look at this, the people who are successful use a lot of these principles to make changes in their lives. So I mean, I'm just saying it's all over the place, these sort of principles. It's can be very helpful for many people.
Yeah, awesome. So I would encourage and challenge those that are watching, and if you're watching the replay, but go ahead and put a comment about who you want to become. Like, what is it that's below the outcomes that you want that will lead to that? Okay, so I'd really love to hear from some of you guys on who it is that you want to become in 2019. And this is getting to the truth of who we really are. That's one of my favorite things that I get to do as a mindset transformational coach, is help people reconnect with the truth of who they are. Not this story that they've told themselves, not the story that their parents told them, not the story that they've lived out for years and years and years and years that are keeping them in a cycle of pain, but the actual truth of who they really are, the one that resonates so deeply at the core of your being that you're like, I know that that's true. And I haven't been living in accordance with that. I need to get to that person. I need to get to know that person. I need to bring that person to the surface and become that person, because that is what life is all about. The outer results, those things, they come and they go, and it's not about that. And if we're always keeping our focus there, then we're never getting to the place where change and transformation can truly occur. So guys, to have the best marriage ever in 2019, dissect it, like reverse engineer the outcomes that you're wanting. And maybe you're even starting with the outcomes that you don't want. Maybe you know that you're so sick of the arguments, or your spouse pulling away from you, or the affair that's going on, and you don't want that. Well, then flip that around and it will show you what you do want. And then go down deep into, who do I need to be to get that outcome? And start to work on that. Start to work on creating that identity, giving yourself evidence to yourself through small daily wins and incremental improvements compounded over time lead to incredible transformation. Like I said at the beginning, I used to be a girl and a young mother that would set goals, and I would have big ambition and a lot of drive, and I would get to work, and I would work really, really, really hard. And I often would not see the results that I was wanting. And that was very, very frustrating. And a lot of people get to that point and then they just want to give up. Like, well, setting goals must not work. And, all of this stuff. This just must be who I am. This just must be my lot in life. And they settle, right? And I understand that feeling, because it's very frustrating when you don't achieve what you want to achieve. But getting to the point now where I know that I can achieve absolutely anything as I tap into the truth of who I really am and build up the identity that supports that. Awesome. I got a comment here. I want to be self-confident, open, and capable of trusting, being vulnerable and loving without condition. Awesome. So I don't know who said this comment, because Be Live here doesn't let me see the name until later when I go onto Facebook, then I can see who it was. But then I would encourage you, what does a self-confident person do? What are their rituals in life when they're faced with this kind of situation or this kind of challenge? How do they do that? And start to visualize some of those things, start to journal out some of those things, and practice some of those things, so that anytime you come into a situation, something that maybe in the past you've been very insecure, what would a confident person do in this situation? And then start to do those things and give yourself the evidence that that's who you really are. So that is our thought here, our encouragement, our training for you in a nutshell. And we have a further resource to help you with this. We put together a New Year's marriage goals sheet. And this is going to help you go from some of those outward outcomes, like you want better trust, you want better communication, you want intimacy, you want to restore your marriage, you want to get your spouse back. Any of those kind of outward outcomes, and helps peel back the layers to getting down to these different levels of, like, what would you need to have as your processes? What would your systems need to be? What would your habits need to look like? All the way down to who do you need to be? And that, my friend, is where the magic really happens. That is where you go from one magnificent win to the next. I've seen it happen in my life, and I'm a person now that I accomplish everything. And I don't mean to sound bragging, but I know that I can do anything because it's within the power of each of us to do that. And life truly can go from one magnificent win to the next. So don't sell yourself short. Don't be afraid of dreaming big, because it's not just vague dreaming or wishing. It is absolutely possible. There are no limits on what we can achieve in our lives, as well as in our relationships, as long as we're focusing on the right things in our areas of control. Awesome. I want to be confident and fun, struggling with that. I want trust and commitment and affection in my marriage. Awesome. So again, what does someone that's fun do? What does someone that's confident do? How do they feel about themselves? Who do you need to become to be that confident person? What kind of systems do you need in your life? And then the outcomes will take care of themselves. So if you want that New Year's marriage goal sheet, comment goals in the comments, and I will send it to you. I only want to send it to those that are going to take action and really apply these things. People that are hungry for change, that are tired of living in pain, that don't want 2019 to be the same as 2018. They understand that to get different results, they're going to have to do some different things, and they're ready to do that, and they just want to be shown the way. So if that is you, it's a free guide, but I want to know that you're committed. So I want you to step forward and take some action right now by letting me know that that's you. So go ahead and put guide if you would like our New Year's goals guide sheet. And beyond that, we are offering a very special promotion to those that are serious about taking their marriage to the next level this next year. And we are offering lifetime group coaching to all of our relationship reboot members. What that looks like is, this is incredible. our mentors, our business mentors, told us not to do this because we're offering way too much value, but we wanted to be of service to people. And we wanted to help as many as possible. And so we have opened up our lives and our schedule to you guys. And we offer a monthly group coaching session for all members of our relationship reboot course. And literally no one else out there is doing this. Like there are no other marriage programs at this level that offer this kind of value. And so literally you can come on every single month and work with Mark and I to ensure that you're making progress in your marriage as a member of our relationship reboot group, to take your marriage to the next level this year, to really not just be focused on these outward outcomes, but to get deep into who you really are, who you want to become. And then we'll show you the how. Like the how, it will just take care of itself. And we'll show you how to do that as you do the work. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and comment me. So that's for our lifetime group coaching membership as a member of a relationship reboot. So Mark, do you have any final thoughts here that you want to end us with? Some words of wisdom, some epicness.
No, all I have to add here is that, just like Heather said, I can understand how it's really hard to see how you might accomplish some of these goals. But when you actually take the time to really break it down and plan for it and, really focus in on the right areas, you really can accomplish anything. I just speaking for myself, I was the kind of person, I would say even 5-10 years ago, not a hugely motivated person. I just kind of went with the flow with a lot of things, and I just kind of let my career take me where it went. And, the last few years, I'm going to attribute a lot of this to working with Heather, actually. She's really amazing at motivating people and helping people see exactly how to work on things. But you really can accomplish some big things if you go about it in an intelligent way. Whether that is an impossible goal, an impossible seeming goal, like maybe fixing this broken marriage, or whether it's, starting a business like Heather and I did. Absolutely, if you go about this right, you really can do it. So please get the help that you need. We're right here, willing to help all of you out. Like Heather said, comment in the below, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Just a final thought here. A really powerful exercise is to imagine yourself at your own funeral and imagine what kind of things people are saying about you. Imagine that the best version of you were lying in that coffin, or the version of you that's on a trajectory that you're on right now, right? Because all of our habits are leading us somewhere. They're all taking us somewhere, and we might not see it immediately, but we will see it long-term, because everything has a cost, whether it's a good one or a bad one, right? So think about the last day of your life and what kind of person you want to have become. What would you regret? What would you regret not doing? And right there, that is what you must focus on now, because life, it is short, and time, it is precious. So let's make the very best use of the time and the energy that we have while we still have it. So appreciate you, Mark, and let's make this an incredible year in 2019. We appreciate and honor each of you and look forward to truly seeing your marriages thrive. So we'll talk to you later. Thank you, Mark.
See you.